Let's go. Right when you thought it couldn't get any worse for Russell Brand, and I just made a video saying his situation got a lot worse because he was demonetized on YouTube. And, usually when we see that, it's the first of many dominoes to fall. At least that's what we've seen with Tate. It's what we've seen with Alex Jones. So I was like, this is as worse. This is as bad as it's going to get, besides the actual, if a trial takes place or anything like that. But it got worse. The government is actually trying to get Russell Brand demonetized and deplatformed. Not the US government, the UK government. And I think that's an important distinction because things are different in the UK. I said this in a video that I haven't quite released yet. It was about Trump and democracy, and it's different in the UK. You've seen people getting arrested for tweets. Their hate speech is very broad, very, very broad. The police will come up to you over tweets. You tweeted something and it made this person feel uncomfortable. Like it's wild, and which is why you never see Russell Brand get into any crazy type of talking. There's no swearing. There's no going at people really hard. None of that. He doesn't do any of that. And there's reason for it. He'll get arrested where he lives. So I'm not fully surprised that the government's trying to do this, but I really see this as an overreach. We talk about government overreach all the time, but this is a different type of overreach. None of these platforms were thinking about demonetizing Russell Brand until one lady, and I'm sure there's some other people in the background as well, but she's the face of this whole thing, until she started writing some letters to different platforms, and now that we actually have seen these letters, because I'm going to be showing you the letters, I'm going to be showing you her speaking about the whole situation, because I haven't seen anybody bring anyone that. We're going to have a clip of her actually talking about the situation. We're going to show you the letters that were actually released to the social media companies, and then we're going to show you a boss of a response to one of those letters by an incredible CEO that we all need to applaud. Really, really do. So let's just get into that, because this is wild. This is wild. Like a lot of talk, a lot of things when we're talking about stuff, it's like, oh, the government's doing this, they're doing that. They're in the shadows. They give these people their talking points. This is just out in the open, no shame. And she actually thinks, and I'm sure some people in the background as well, in the government, the UK government, thinks this is proper. This is how it should be. I think this is crazy. And I know a lot of you do too. And we all see the timing of this, and it must be really hard. It must be really hard for Russell Brand right now. Now, again, if these allegations are all true, then it must be hard for the victims as well. But what should be happening is these things should be said to the police. They should be brought to trial. There should be evidence or lack thereof. And there should be a decision made by legal entities, not by media companies, not by social media companies, and definitely not by you and I. It should not be by public opinion, by media. No, we're not the ones. We're not the ones. From YouTube to the guy sitting watching YouTube to the guy making the videos, we're not the ones that should be deciding this. And the fact that that's how they're trying to roll it out, like you're made guilty by documentary, is crazy. Because the very art of creating a documentary is you taking the most salacious, or not even the most salacious, you're taking the exact clippings and interview parts, and you're only interviewing certain people so you can get a certain message across that you're trying to do within an hour or however long it is. It's not fair. It's just not. Like, again, respect to the victims. If they feel like something happened, it's terrible. But it's not fair to have a documentary released, and that's how everybody comes to the determination that you're guilty of a crime. I think it's crazy. I saw Megyn Kelly just yesterday. I saw a clip of her and she's like, I unsubscribe. She's like yelling. I'm like, geez, you're still in the mainstream media, lady. You just turned down a Fox contract or MSNBC or whatever she was with. She's still mainstream media. She's yelling, literally yelling, I unsubscribe. And the reason I say that she's still mainstream media is because she's still tuned into the fact that she can sway public opinion, and she's trying to do it. And that's not what you should be doing, my opinion. Let's get into the store real quick. You know I got to bring you there. Certified Pure Blood, for those of you that stood strong throughout the pandemic, worldwide. Get your certificate of achievement ASAP with this t-shirt or hoodie for those of you that are about to experience a very cold winter, because I feel like some things are going to happen this winter that will be unprecedented. And also the Soul Not For Sale shirt, a bold statement. Make this statement to the elite. Make it to Hollywood. Make it to Satan himself. Your soul is not for sale. And we have the Public Enemy #1 shirt. For those of you that don't know about the World Economic Forum, where have you been? Is this your first time on the channel? Go and check it out. We have a few videos about that organization and about this man, and you'll understand quickly why he is Public Enemy #1. And we have the newest design, real quick, the We the People shirt, where we the people are giving the middle finger to a man who thinks that we should own nothing and be happy, because that's just not what's going to happen. Not on my watch. And I'm wearing it right now. I didn't even realize that. That's why people were looking at me weird in the store. Anyways, guys, if you want 10% off of anything you just saw, all you got to do is put in the discount code I am Coach Colin, all capital letters, all one word, one L in the name Colin, gets you 10% off on us. You are very welcome. And to anyone who's done that already, thank you so much. This is the first article that I saw. UK Parliament sends letters to social media platforms demanding the demonetization of Russell Brand. And when I first saw this, I was watching a YouTube video and I was like, is this true? And then I found the article and then I read it a bit, but then I went deeper and I jumped over to Twitter and I actually found out this lady is responsible for this. Her name's Caroline Dinenage. She's an MP and she's also the chair of Culture, Media and Sports in the UK. So this is the woman who is boldly sending these letters out. Now, before I show you those letters, I actually want to show you her speaking about this situation, because nobody's doing that. Nobody's showing her actually talking about it and what she thinks. And, who cares what she thinks? But at the same time, it's good to actually hear what she thinks, because she actually says something very telling. And it kind of shows that she knows that she's overreaching in this whole thing. So let me just play this for you. Let's go.
Well, those were some of the allegations which Russell Brand denies, the claims that are out there in the public domain. But what are politicians going to do about it? Their house is hardly entirely in order on these sorts of things as well. There have been all sorts of problems in Westminster as well. Caroline Dinenage MP, Conservative MP for Gosport, she is chairwoman of the Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee. Caroline, thank you for joining me this afternoon. How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you.
These are very, very worrying allegations, aren't they? What's Parliament going to do about it?
Well, they are very worrying allegations, of course, allegations which have been strenuously denied, but they are serious and disturbing, and actually, more than anything, the nature of these allegations means that they are a matter for the police, not for Parliament. But I suppose what struck me over the last few days is the number of people that have spoken about being shocked but not surprised by the allegations. Okay, and that has been the theme over the last few months, where we've had a number of high-profile media figures that have been brought to the nation's attention.
And actually, you, sorry to interrupt you, Caroline, but you, as someone who's been a culture minister, who's been around TV entertainment for a long time, as someone who really understands this, were you surprised when this came out? Of course, he denies the allegations. They are just claims. But in terms of this sort of thing, we sort of think a lot of this is just. I mean, it's horrendous if true. But at the same time, so much of this kind of behaviour is out there, and clearly there is a cultural problem, not just within broadcasting, but within many other organisations as well.
And that's the extent to which I think my committee is likely to get involved. We're not likely to get involved in individual cases, because that will be a matter for the police. It will be a matter for the television companies. And of course, we will be asking them to what extent they've investigated and what they plan to do to resolve the situation moving forward, to ensure that the right checks and balances are in place to protect people nowadays. These are obviously historic allegations. But I think more broadly, what we're concerned about is this culture within the media, this kind of workplace culture where you, by definition, have these incredibly powerful and influential individuals, and the extent to which the right protections are in place to prevent that power dynamic being exploited to the detriment of someone else's life, or in fact their career.
I'm not directly comparing the two cases. I need to be very careful about that. But if Parliament can certainly, I know you grilled ITV bosses over Philip Schofield, the culture of This Morning and so on. Presumably you feel you have a duty to hold the whole of the broadcasting industry to account over what may have happened, and there are just claims in terms of Russell Brand, because you've quite a lot of people involved here. You've got the BBC, obviously he was essentially sacked from that role on Radio 2 after the Andrew Sachs affair, which is quite a long time ago. You've got Channel 4 involved, you've got a production company involved as well. I mean, that dynamic between someone who is a very, very highly paid star, is fronting a big, national programme, and then the people behind the scenes who are often working a lot harder, quite frankly, who are sort of facilitating things, or allegedly facilitating things, like the kind of demands and the whims almost of some presenters. We've certainly seen that happening on various occasions. There's nothing per se wrong with that, but it's unsurprising, is it not, that some presenters and some people who are told, darling, you're wonderful the whole time, will then lose a sense of propriety within that, don't you think, Caroline?
So I think what we're talking about here are some really serious allegations regarding 4 cases of alleged sexual assault and 1 of rape. So those are very much matters for the police, and they're not things for our committee to get involved in at this stage. But we would be looking... and of course, we recognise that bad behaviour outside of the workplace is very hard for any employer to legislate for. However, we do think it's important that there are the checks and balances in place to prevent these kind of power dynamics that you spoke about being exploited.
So it's very interesting. It's very interesting what her thought process is on this whole thing, and again, talking to freedom of speech and talking to how different things are in the UK, this gentleman just thinks, he's like, what is Parliament going to do about this? He actually thinks that's how it's supposed to be. That's so, I was going to say un-American, but they're not in America. So it makes perfect sense. Like, it's very interesting that that's the way they think over there. There's been some allegations, just claims, his exact words. These are just claims. And he's like, what's Parliament going to do about this? What a place. Never even going to visit. And I have so much family in the UK. I don't think I'm ever going to visit. You could say something and they'll be like, what should we do about him? We'll throw you in jail. But she kept saying it. This is a matter for the police, not Parliament. She said that twice. And she also said they don't want to get involved in individual cases. Yet that's exactly what they're doing. I don't get this. I don't want to say I don't understand why they're after him like this, because obviously I perfectly understand. I mean, Russell Brand, like I've had people compare me to Russell Brand. I'm not like Russell Brand. I have conversations with my wife about giants. We talk about hollow earth theory. Russell Brand does not let up for 1 second at all in any video on the mainstream media, all sorts of giant companies, BlackRock to pharmaceuticals. Like, he keeps his foot on the neck of those people, of those industries every single day. And through it all, because we don't really realize it, because he's Russell Brand, we never really think about it. But next to Tucker Carlson, he has become the biggest journalist in the world. That's it. He's number 2 in the entire world. And on top of that, he makes more content than Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is bigger, but Russell Brand makes way more content. And he talks about way more pending issues. and uncovers way more. We just don't realize it because it's Russell Brand, and he does it funny, and he's silly about it at times, and we always remember that he's an actor. We remember Get Him to the Greek and all these things. We don't realize he's a giant journalist. So it's like they're not. It's being framed like we're doing this to an actor, like this is being done to an actor. It's not being done to an actor. It's being done to a journalist. It's way different. It's way more sinister. It's back when he was an actor, sure, but it's because of the journalist he's become today. Completely different. So just very interesting that she keeps saying it's not a matter for the police, or it's a matter for the police, not Parliament. This gentleman's saying these are just claims. She's saying she doesn't want to get involved in individual cases, but then that's exactly what she does when we come over here. Again, if you're not following Eva, I cannot pronounce her name, but if you're on Twitter at Eva VLAAR, I'm telling you, she's been covering the Dutch situation, the Dutch farmer situation, like no other person, and she was the one where I found these actual letters. So these are from Caroline. This is a letter that she sent to the CEO of Rumble. I usually like to keep my laptop out of it, but I gotta actually read this. So it says, "Dear Chris," I can't highlight anything. I'll try and raise it up here for you guys so you guys can see more of it. It says, "Dear Chris, I'm writing concerning the serious allegations regarding Russell Brand in the context of his being a content provider on Rumble with more than 1.4 million followers. The culture, media, and sports committee is raising questions with the broadcasters and production companies who have previously employed Mr. Brand to examine both the culture of their industry in the past and whether the culture still prevails today." This is crazy that she thinks she should be able to to do this. I'm telling you, things work so different in the UK. So different in the UK. That's why 15-minute cities are flourishing out there. However, but being protested. Stay strong out there, guys. However, we are also looking at his use of social media, including Rumble, where he issued his preemptive response to the accusations made against him by the Sunday Times and Channel 4's dispatches. This is so crazy to me because she's basically saying, she's like, hey, he's just been able to use it to kind of defend himself and kind of speak his side. And we don't understand why that's happening. Why is he allowed to defend himself? We kind of just want him to be silenced completely. While we recognize that Rumble is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, we're concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. So sinister to want to take away his way of making money, because if we wanted to get all indirectly about it, you're pretty much saying you want to take food out of his children's mouths. He's about to have his third child, and you're just like, somebody said a thing, and we're not sure if it's true or not, but we'd like for those kids not to eat. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek because he's a millionaire. He'll be fine for a while, even if he made no money on these platforms. But who am I to count his money? You know what I mean? I don't know what he's invested in, how much of it's in liquid. I have no idea. However, we are looking at the use of the blah, blah, blah. We already did that. We would be grateful. This is where the wording gets really sinister. I was going to say silly, but it's more sinister. We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his content, including his videos relating to the serious accusations against him. If so, we would like to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. This is like imagine you run a social media company and you're receiving a letter like this from the government, the UK government, and they're just like, hey, we just want to know what you're going to do. Like, this is borderline threatening. We would also like to know what Rumble is doing to ensure the creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims of inappropriate and potentially legal behavior. You see, her wording here is very interesting because she knows, you saw it in the clip that I just played, she knows that this is a matter for the police, not Parliament. She knows that. That's why she's going on record saying it. She's making sure to say it out loud. But when she says that, in that last line there, she's asking them to deplatform him. And this is not the only person, this is not the only company that she has sent these letters to. There's another one right here, and this is to TikTok. So she's making sure to write to the CEOs of these companies in this threatening manner to see if she can get them to demonetize him and hopefully deplatform him. Because, if we go back up here, because, however, we are looking at the social media rumble he used to post his preemptive response to the accusations. She doesn't want him to be able to respond to any type of accusations. See, this is why I was saying in the last video, I wish he would just make videos. I wish he would just keep going. I wish he would make a video about this situation and pick it apart. I know the world, it probably feels like the world's like tumbling down on him right now, and it probably feels crazy because he lives in the UK. Move to America, Russell. And like definitely like move to America as soon as possible. Like Texas. Like he should be living in like Austin, Texas. You know what I mean? But yeah, she doesn't want him to be able to defend himself at all. That's wild to me. Wild and scary. Very scary. You know, I know again that this is just the UK. And again, this is like, you can see it at the top here. The CEO of Rumble. This is who she's writing to. This is who she's trying to scare into banning him. So he can't defend himself. So he literally has to just sit there and take whatever they're saying. These claims, these accusations, they're just claims at this point. The people are staying anonymous, so he can't even say, oh, this person, I did it on this day, we went here, and this didn't happen, and we were never in this room, and this It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But thankfully, bosses exist, right? So we see here, Rumble hits out the disturbing letter, because that's what he called it. The CEO is such a boss. So this is what the CEO had to say about this letter. Hopefully you guys can see it all. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from the committee chair in the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault and all serious crimes and believes that both alleged victims and accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with the content on Rumble's platform. Good for him. Just yesterday, YouTube announced that based solely on these media accusations, it was barring Russell Brand from monetizing his video content. Rumble stands for very different values. We have devoted ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet, meaning, this is beautiful. What a beautiful thing to say. This guy's amazing. This guy's like the JFK of social media CEOs. A free internet meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform. I know a lot of you are going to be like, yo, get on Rumble. I am on Rumble, just so you know. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or to earn a living from doing so, singling out an individual. I just like to say again, she even said in the video you just watched, she doesn't want to get involved in individual cases. She just said that. She went on record saying that in an interview on TV. Find my individual. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing, given the absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. We don't see there is a connection. See, this is the thing also. I love that he just said that. There is a connection. There is a connection. That's the connection is what he's doing on Rumble, on YouTube, on social media does affect the UK government. It does affect them. They're not worried about the victims. That's nonsense. They're not worried about these victims at all. They're using these victims, these alleged victims, I might add. They're using them. That's what they're doing. We don't agree with the behavior of many Rumble creators, but we refuse to penalize them for actions that have nothing to do with our platform. And then the last thing they said, although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so would be a violation of our company's values and missions. We empathetically reject the UK Parliament's demands. Oh, man. What a G. And that gentleman's name right here, this gentleman's name is Chris Pavolinsky, I don't know. A Canadian. That's right. Well, I think. I know the company is a Canadian-based company. Man, what a boss. Incredible. Incredible. I love that. And right after this, and, you know, I know this is a video about Russell Brand, but also this gentleman is taking a lot of flack for defending Russell's position. Not his position, his right to make money on social media. He said, if you thought the attacks were going to stop, you're wrong. Imagine scouring a few comments out of millions so they could report on it. Corporate media, disgusting, evil, and misleading. This is what happens when they're scared shitless of the values we stand for. Bring it. Wow. And what he's talking about is AP, which is Association Press, I believe they're called. They actually, they reached out to them. Again, another threatening type of letter. I'm not going to be able to read this for you guys. Ugh, I should have brought my phone. But basically, I've read this before. I'm too zoomed in here. Sorry, guys. Basically, what they're doing is they're reaching out to Chris. And they're saying, hey, just want to know what you plan on doing about these comments. We found comments about people calling for violence to come to Democrats. We understand that you're like a political platform, and we just want to know what you plan on doing about this, if you plan on doing anything. So they're basically trying to call them out like, hey, you know, you just kind of said to the UK government that you won't help us in deplatforming Russell Brand. But we just want to know what you're going to do about this, and this. They're pretty much trying to get them in more hot water. They just did an expose on Russell Brand about what the problem is with him. And now they're threatening to do some kind of expose on Rumble and what they allow on their platform. So I love that this guy's just standing strong throughout this whole thing. Again, that is his @ You can see it right there. If you're on Twitter, jump on, follow this guy. He's great. The platform's great. You know, I have to say, I love YouTube. You know, I've been on YouTube since 2014. I've only gotten success on it in the past 10 months, but I do love YouTube. I watch YouTube every day. I watch hours of it, but, oh man, sad to see. And the UK government, oh my God, just appalling, crazy. And then he posts another thing. This guy doesn't even act like he's a CEO. He's acting like he's just a guy hanging out. He's like, wow, she has ties to Google. And this woman actually does have ties to Google. Let me just shrink myself here a little bit for you guys. So she actually does have ties to Google. It's more in a donor respect, but they are ties nonetheless. So that's her. And then if you look all the way down here, am I covering it still? It's moving me out of the way. Get out of the way, Colin. Right there. It's just like a, let me lower this. Go up here. There it is. Name of donor, UK, Google UK Limited. So Google's one of her donors, basically. Or she is, Google is one of the donors that she has, basically. But, yeah, again, this is about Russell Brand, so I don't want to stray too much from it, but it just, it sucks to see, man. Sucks to see. You have a ton of support, Russell. This is a little tribute to Russell Brand because this is what he likes to do. He likes to go into the comments of videos and read things. of his supporters, but he's not here to do that, so I'll do that. You have tons of support, Russell. You are the man to take this on. Remember that. You chose this mission. You will succeed. Absolutely ridiculous. We all know exactly what is going on, and rest assured, this is going to backfire tremendously. I agree with that. I think this is gonna do exactly what we saw with Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson, nobody understood what's going on with this guy. Why does he care about pronouns and this and that? And then boom. Oh, I made this video too long. Once again, I haven't switched cameras yet. I'm switching them soon. Trust me. Ugh. I'm just afraid to take the new one out. All right. The UK government's letter to Rumble trying to get your income revoked is bloody sickening. I'm sure that person's from the UK. Man, just so much support he has on this thing. If someone ever... Oh, I'm not going to read that one. A court of law is a place where you deal with these matters. If you ever get trial by television or guilt by accusation, that day freedom died. Man, Margaret Thatcher said that. I got to look into her. I don't know much about her. We are with you, Russell. We are with you, Russell, no matter what. We know the agenda. Update us when you can. You got 6.63 million subscribers, more than ever supporting you. It's so true. So true. Again, that's why I wish he just kept making videos. You know? It's happening in my country too. Every brave speaker of the truth gets defamed. It's the modern version of assassination. Exactly. Because you can't cut the head off of a snake, but if you make the snake completely unappealing to everybody, then... Because if you cut the head off of a snake, you know what happens. More than one grows back, especially when we're talking about social media. You know what I mean? It's like Russell's gone and I'm sitting here with notes. You know? And then there's going to be another guy with notes and another guy with notes, and it's going to keep going. It's not going to stop. We all knew this was coming. We didn't know how, but we knew. Man, just wanted to put that out there. Switch me over here. Thank you. Just wanted to put that out there, guys. That's what's happening with Russell Brand currently. The government is literally trying to make it so he can't make a living. They don't want him to speak out. They definitely don't want him to make any videos that can counter the narrative that they're pushing out so hard. And the fact that it's someone who's the chair of culture and media, you know, again, I said it at the beginning, that just translates to me as public opinion. And she probably gets her talking points from, what is it called? MI6? MI6 over there? That's probably where she's getting her talking points, I'll be honest. But yeah, that's it for this video. That's what's going on in the Russell Brand situation. I'm going to post this video and probably something else is going to happen. I have to say, I just made one video about the situation getting so bad. Now it's getting even worse. I just hope he stays strong and that he keeps on, that he comes back. Come back as quick as possible. That's what I would say. But anyways, guys, if you haven't liked the video already, like the video. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. And other than that, I am out.